welcome again to another episode of where I recreate the first level of Spyro 3. In this episode, I had to adjust how I made the climbing work. In the game, Spyro automatically moves forward while you are gliding, and I didn't have that set up. So this was quite a difficult task for me, and I needed to recruit my boyfriend again to help me figure out how to do this. And he was extremely helpful and kind of just solved the problem for me. So first of all, I needed to duplicate the climbing mode and movement system that I've already set up. This is going to be the basis of the flying. I think I already had part of this set up, so it was really all about tweaking it at this point. At first, I tried to just add to the forward vector of the flight, and that wasn't really working. I'm not sure why this didn't really work, but just what it is, I guess. I think part of the reason is because I had so many things in a function or a macro that sometimes Unreal just doesn't send out this information, even though the information is there. And if you do a print string, it does say it is there and you are getting that forward momentum. It's just not coming through. So I tried to remove that. Eventually that did work, but it took a long time to get there. Also, if you add force, you have to enable physics, and it does not work to a player character at all. You just do some weird spinning thing. That's weird. Yeah. So I tried adding speed, to set the speed of the character. The flight speed is about the same as walking, so it's pretty slow, and Spyro is definitely a lot faster. So I set up a variable just like I did with the walking speed to get to advance to running, and that didn't really seem to work the way that I thought it was going to too. I don't think I had it hooked up in the correct way to actually change the variable and actually change the speed. I don't think the flight speed actually has anything either to be able to do that as easily as walking. One of the things that I got hung up on was changing states. So changing from the flying state to the custom state or something. I thought it would have been a lot easier if I could just duplicate the flying state. So I tried going into the code and tried to figure out where it was housed just so I can copy and paste it. And basically use a second flying state. Looked online, there is no easy way to do this. I don't know, you just can't really. So if I were you, I'd probably do away with flying states altogether and switching the movement states, and then kind of creating it yourself through custom events. It's just a huge headache, and those tutorials that say, oh, just use flying for climbing or whatever, it's gonna probably give you a headache in the future. So just keep that in mind. I also had a lot of redundancies because I just copied and pasted the climb movement that I had. I really needed to go in later and trim down all that stuff. Now the code is pretty slim, but it was a mess, and that's kind of how it is when you're testing and building this stuff, especially when you don't know a lot about programming. It's gonna look really sloppy, and eventually you'll be able to figure out what is necessary and what isn't necessary, and you can go in and delete it once it's working. If you delete this thing and it's working perfectly fine, you probably didn't need it, right? So there's a lot of testing. At this point, my boyfriend took control because I was having such a hard time. He did a infinite loop, which crashed the game, but we were able to save it through going to the control panel and just deleting the window or forcing the window closed. Luckily, nothing was lost. Well, eventually we got it to work, and now the system glides, it pushes forward, it's in the correct direction when you glide, and it's all super dandy. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you like it, and stay tuned for future episodes.